Killer, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about 5 incredibly important reasons why it's important to have the right friends in your life. Look, listen, we've all gone through our share of friends who were toxic and friends who were not compatible with our values and our goals. And over the years, as we navigated the space of relationships and the friends we met along the way, we realized that actually some friends are just not compatible with our values. You know, even someone who is not necessarily toxic is not someone that they're not a bad person, but really when you think about where you are, where you're going in your life, and how you live your life, you realize that you've got vastly different values and principles that are not ultimately compatible. So I'd love to share some of the reasons that I have seen over the years, of some of the reasons that have worked for me over the years with the friends that I have in my life, and how I've had to discern the right friends for me over the years. Okay, 5 reasons. Reason number 1, find friends with whom you share compatible values. This is very important because look, we are not saying that we want an echo chamber where your friends have to agree with you about everything. That is not the case. And I mean, really, truly, what kind of a person are you that you want everyone to agree with you on everything? That's just not realistic. What we are saying, however, is at the core of it all, when you strip everything to its bare bones, these are the kinds of friends that you want to share with you values insofar as perhaps, I mean, just think about it even in terms of, are they kind? Are they compassionate? How do they show up in the lives of those they care about? I mean, look, listen, if you, by any measure, are a kind, compassionate person who loves to engage and interact with others with warmth and with love and with energy, you know, you would love for the people that surround you to mirror the compassion and the kindness. You know, you wouldn't want someone who is unempathetic and someone who is not sympathetic and someone who is not considerate. So, you know, so these are some of the things that you look out for when you look for the right kinds of friends in your life. And I mean, look, listen, on the face of it, some people can pretend to be kind, can pretend to be compassionate, but some things really, truly only reveal themselves with time. And with time, you realize, ooh, snap, I don't think this is the kind of person that I want in my life. So some of this really is trial and error, and some people really are wolves in sheep's clothing. That is the truth. And the moment of reckoning when the emperor has no clothes, you realize that, oh, okay, so all these times I've been with a wolf in sheep's clothing. But look, this is why I think at the outset, when you know what you are looking for and you know what your values are, you know what your principles are, you know what your code, oh man, should one be saying code of conduct? You know, whatever code of conduct you live by, you would want people to mirror around you. And I mean, we've been hearing quotes such as a quote from Jean Rom that you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourselves with. And I, for one, think that is true. Which brings me to my point number 2. Be surrounded by friends who want to progress in life. I cannot emphasize this enough. Be surrounded by friends who want progress in life. Let me give you an example. So, if let's say now I say, you know what, I want to open a clothing brand, right? And then, you know, I do it, I go ahead with it, and then the people around me are just like, oh, nah, nope, not happening, we just don't understand why you want to do that. And you can see that they just don't understand why you want to work so hard to be better at something, to be really good at something that perhaps you thought, hey, let me give this a try, let me see where it's gonna go, because life is trial and error. And this kind of person doesn't want to advance themselves in life. When you look at where they are and you know, you try and gauge where they are going with their goals, but you're not really getting the sense that this is the kind of person who wants to advance themselves, then inadvertently, they will pull you down, even without saying it. I mean, look, you don't have to say it, but if you are now miles ahead than the people that are around you, then I'm sorry to say it, but it's time to look into a new circle, because you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourselves with. Look at your close circle of friends. Are you all working towards something? Are you all saying, yes, we are killing it? Yes, we're killing it in our career aspirations. We're killing it in the relationships that we have with people that are surrounded by love, warmth, compassion, kindness, fun, adventure. You know, are they the kind of people who have a joie de vivre spirit about life and are like, you know what? We want to improve, we want to study further, we want to study different courses. You know, are they constantly reading? Are they constantly expanding their wealth of knowledge from where they currently are? So someone who doesn't want to progress in life will pull you down, because they'll be like, why are you insisting on learning so much? Why are you insisting on wanting to do this, that, and the other? Can't you just leave and let be? But then you're like, what does leave and let be even mean if it doesn't mean progressing yourself? Because you can only be better than you were yesterday if today you are learning something new that will develop you tomorrow. That's just how we are. We are meant to evolve as a species. And if you have people around you who are averse to growth, then you have a problem. And those are not the kind of people you want to surround yourself with. So this closely then ties in with my third point: have friends who love self-development, who love education. This becomes very, very crucial, especially in the world that we live in, which is constantly evolving. I mean, now we are talking about a world that speaks to ChatGPT, where it looks like some jobs will be threatened. So then what do you do in an environment that is constantly evolving, an environment that is constantly changing, in an environment that constantly has technological advances? How do you then hone your skills? How do you then pivot to get to the next level forward, right? So you want to be surrounded by friends and people and a network of people who can see that, hey, you know, we should be looking into the future. We should be anticipating future trends. And anticipating future trends comes with the experience of learning, of educating yourself, of finding out what is going on in the world around you, right? And that comes with a vested interest in knowledge and a vested interest in studying, in consuming the content around you, the media around you that you know shows, hey, what are the trends of 2023? Then you look into that. Hey, what is going on around us? You know, does the threat of AI and automation and machine learning and, you know, platforms such as ChatGPT, what does that mean? What does that mean for my job? What does that mean for my career? What do I need to do, right? So the friends around you who they too look into things like that, those are the right kinds of friends to be surrounded by and with, because those are the people with whom you can have collaborations, with whom you can have robust interactions where you say, hey, perhaps this is how one can look into things. These are some of the resources you can access. So it's so important, because we do not live in a vacuum, right? We do not live in a vacuum, because think about it this way: if you are the only one in your circle who is vested in educating yourself, who invests in yourself, you buy books, you consume other media, you listen to audiobooks, you are really just for a life of progression. If you're the only one, then what does that mean for the people around you who are not as, you know, interested in finding out what's going on around them? No, really, because then that is going to make you miserable if all you're saying is, hey guys, oh my word, this is so cool. Did you realize that this, that, and the other? Or I am so worried that the continuation of AI and this is going to threaten jobs such as maybe copywriting. If you know you have a ChatGPT platform which says, hey, now you can input certain commands and it can produce research. It's like, what does that mean for the education sector? So, you know, these are all the questions and intellectual questions that you should be engaging with the people around you. And if you're not engaging in intellectual rigor and discourse, then are you surrounded by the right people? I mean, look, I am by no means saying that everything around you should be fraught, or rather should be intellectually discussed, but I am saying that it is important to have friends with whom you have rapport and with whom you have the kind of spirit of self-development, the spirit of lifelong learning, more than anything, the spirit of lifelong learning. And they should be agile, they should be flexible, they should be ultimately for the progression of their own lives and the lives of the people around them, right? 4, you want to have friends who are open-minded. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to have friends who are open-minded, because let's be honest, you cannot agree with everything that is around you, right? There are certain things about them that you be like, I don't know about that, but hey, I love this about you, right? So you can never find someone with whom you can agree with everything completely. That's impossible. That's an impossibility that is unattainable, and nor should you ascribe to that, right? So you should be open-minded in viewpoints that they may bring, which in some cases could be antithetical to what you are contributing, or rather to what you view, right, as something, or as a way of being, or as a way of living your life. It could be antithetical, but being open-minded then is about you then saying, oh, I didn't think about this way. That's a different perspective. And then how do you then, if you so choose, how do you then merge that with what you had already been thinking all along? Or even sometimes, people really can change your view completely on something, right? So this is to say, don't be so rigid that you cannot have robust and interesting conversations around things that you disagree with. I mean, look, I am by no means saying you must dismantle all the principles and fundamental values you have. Sure, build the solid foundations, because there are some things that are integral to who you are. There are some things that you've developed over the years that speak to you and speak to your personality, that speak to who you are, your values, your ethos in life. I think that is important and that is sacred. But everything else on top of that, solid and sturdy foundation, I believe is subject to debate, subject to change, subject to new ways of even thinking about the same thing, right? So you do, in essence, want to surround yourselves with people who are open-minded, who say, hey, I may not have thought about that before. That is an interesting school of thought. How did you come to that? How do you derive that, ideology or viewpoint, right? So yeah, I think it's incredibly important to have friends who are open-minded. Number 5, have friends who are adventurous and they're fun to be around, and they have a joie de vivre spirit about life, where they're like, yes, this is amazing, let's do this, let's go bungee jumping, let's travel, let's go out and see new places. Those are the kinds of things that keep you alive as a person, where you're like, oh my word, let us go and explore, let us go and visit new places, and even just going into a different town, right? I mean, South Africa has 9 provinces. Even just going from Gauteng to Northwest, Gauteng to Limpopo, and seeing a different area that you hadn't seen before. I mean, those are the adventures that truly make us who we are as people, because we meet people along the way, we interact with different people around us. It shows us a different aspect of things that we don't even know, so it's important to have friends with whom you can share such commonalities of travel, of adventure. Or if you are not the kind of people who love traveling, that's fine, but you must have some sort of joy about life, to say, hey, let's experience something new, whatever that may be for your circle of friends. But it is important to have friends who have a positive outlook in life. We're like, yes, we can do this. Even the cynical person must still have just a little bit of positivity flowing through their veins, because that's the kind of positivity that will keep you going in times when things are just looking a little bit too rough, man. When things are looking a little too rough, those are the kind of people in your circle. You're like, hey, Sakile, we see that you're not feeling too lekker. Why don't we go to Braamfontein and let's go out, let's explore. That kind of spirit. So those are the kinds of aspects that are important in friendships. Of course, there's so many others. I can perhaps explore that in a part 2 video. You can send that in the comments. You can comment with some aspects of friendships that you've realized are important. I mean, of course, we can go into aspects such as loyalty, compassion, kindness, all of that. We can go into all of this, but I wanted to highlight these 5 important ones. So yeah, comment with yours, and over the years, what have you learned in your friendships? What do you value in friendships? And the friendships that you had to let go, what happened? Let's engage in the comments. I cannot wait to engage with you.